Hello everybody, this is Secondhand Dan coming to you from the penny pincher sweatshop land. It's going to be today, I think, like 94 degrees outside, so in the building it's a bit warm right now. If we look at my thermometer, we have like 82 according to that one. Well, what I'm getting at anyway is that I love being in my shop. You know, I love being downstairs, but I don't love the heat and humidity. That's one reason I left Florida at the end of May and came back up to the Pittsburgh area. But what I got going on is kind of a remedy. Well, let me show you one thing before I show you the remedy. If you notice where that fire extinguisher is hanging, there is a door frame that goes up, over and down. So that was like a 50-inch walk-through way, and years ago I boxed it in. I put looks like about 14 inches right there, and I hung a door. The reason was, like I say, I like being in my workshop, I like being in my showroom. But the reason for that one is so I could heat this place up in the winter without trying to heat an area that I was not using. Because between the furnace and the space heater, if you haven't seen my video on the space heater installation, I got like a 3-parter on that one. But anyway, that's very efficient. And I installed that last year. I do have the overhead furnace. Not so efficient, but it's a beast, and it does warm the place up. Even before I put this one in, I had a space heater that was non-thermostatically controlled. You would just turn it to high, low, and it was a constant. And I didn't care for that because when I went away, if the temperature got warm enough, it wouldn't kick off. It would keep going. So I finally got bit the bullet and bought a brand new space heater. You know me, secondhand Dan, I'm always trying to buy something used. I even have a video about buying a used one, and the guy screwed me over. Anyway, here's that door to keep the heat into the showroom. And it drags on the rug, but right now I generally keep it wide open. Ugh, dang. I've never seen that happen before. Okay, I'm used to the rubber catching the door back here on the end, but it was all the way down. So drag my foot across there and I can close this door. And I'm going to need to close this door again, not to keep the heat in that room, but to keep the chill in this room. I'm talking about chill here. A 10,000 BTU air conditioner. It's been sitting in my building here for like years. I actually posted it once and tried to sell it. It wasn't easy to sell because it's 220 volts. And a lot of people aren't able to deal with that. Look at the plug on that. So what I did was the same thing I did over there. I've been working on doing it over here. The only difference is I've got an air conditioner mounted. Of course, this space here is wider than the space that I had to block off over there. But this is a wider doorway to begin with. So I've been boxing this in, and I'm going to hang a door here. It's 30 inches. And I think that door over there must be 32. I mean, I'm going to miss the extra 2 inches. No jokes, please. Anyway, here's the door that's going to go in this, and it's a bit of a snug fit right now. I might actually have to shave anywhere between a ½ inch to an inch off of it to get it to work in this space here. But I've been busy. You can see that I had to drill a hole in the floor and use an anchor. I had to go by 2x10. I created this cradle for the AC to sit on. That's a heavy AC. And the other side's sitting on this bookcase here. I've got a stop from to keep me from pushing it too far in. I had to, oh, piece of plywood. I had to bore a hole in the bottom to allow for the dripping to come out of there, condensation. And I actually had to bend this metal a little bit because I don't want the water to run backwards. So I bent this down. You can't see that on camera, but I bent it down. So hopefully the drips will fall straight down. And I'll put a bucket down here, you know, and empty it at the end of the day. I had to drill and tap up there. There's angle iron up there. So I drilled and tapped 1/4 20-inch holes and was able to bolt that top piece up there. So we're pretty much well anchored there. The last thing I was working on was I cut this board down to size. It's called a hardy board. So I'm screwing that to the stud work. So I plan on firing this up real soon. I'm not going to get the door fully anchored in. I think just for now I might just wedge it in there. I'll have to walk all the way to the showroom if I need to, or I could just wrestle the door back out of the way. But for simple things, I'm going to walk all the way around, especially, you know, I live here, so if I have to go upstairs at the end of the day. But I will get the door eventually swinging in here. Now, one of the other pluses about this is, like I say, is to keep the chill in this room. I tried with this unit. I wasn't expecting it to do the job, and it met my expectations. So I'm probably going to just sell that to somebody. But that's only 5,000 BTU. This is 10,000 BTU. So we will be chilling. I'll have to go around and maybe put some styrofoam blocks up there between the joists up against the wall. Not so much because of the AC, but I'm also thinking about when I want to heat this, I don't want the heat going up through the cracks and the crannies. So I love the look of the ceiling. I mean, ideally, if you're really worried about insulation, you would either drywall that whole ceiling, creating a, you know, put fiberglass up there and drywall. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I did have a drop ceiling, and it actually dropped to the ground. It was, whoever put it up did a janky job on it, and plus the ceiling used to leak. Tiles would get wet and fall out. So I took it down, and I had somebody whitewash this for me. So it's a good look. It's a good pseudo-industrial look up here. Okay. I had to turn the radio off, you know, music in the background. I guess they do what they call demonetize you. Not sure exactly how that works. I'm not getting any money from any of my videos anyway, but I have noticed in the past that I got a little flag on a video. The video would still say posted, but it would say copyright. So the door is about almost the same height as the air conditioner, so I'll have to cover this section up. But I'm gonna go ahead and just fire this thing up as soon as I put a couple more screws in here. All right, this board here is called Hardy board, named after the Hardy brothers. Probably most of you don't know who the Hardy brothers are. Anyway, this Hardy board is somewhere between drywall and concrete, seemingly. Hear that? So I bought maybe 2 sheets to this. It comes in 4x8 sheets because in my showroom, I think I was gone for a weekend, and somebody managed to clip the corner of my showroom windows, and you know the showroom windows meet in a corner. So you got 2 up front and 1 on the side, and one was already broken, but I think somebody came through with a quad because there used to be a quad in the apartment complex behind me, and they cracked it pretty good. So I had to take the glass out, and I wasn't prepared to put new glass in it, because that's a whole new animal to me, commercial glass, because each piece was about maybe 4 foot wide and 6 foot tall. So I need some time to do some homework. So I put the hardy board in there, and I think I maybe left it there for a year, but I did the homework, and I finally got the glass replaced. I don't have building insurance on it, so it isn't like I could call the insurance company and say, hey, because it was a hit and run. We could tell that that's who did it, because I think they were jacked up, and the quad was no longer to be found. They got rid of the evidence. So I don't know if it was drunk or high, but that's how I ended up with the hardy board here. So I'm going to measure down halfway and put another screw in at 61 inches, would be 30 and a half. 30 and a half. Right there. And I'm using a 3-step process. Maybe I'm just being a little too fuss budgety, but you can just take your impact driver and a screw and run it through, but I'm actually pre-drilling the screw hole, and then I'm using a countersink bit, and then that's what's nice about having multiple tools. And then I'm driving a felt screw in. So I have this here, 2 by, you can't see that, let me show you, 2 by 10, pushing it snugly up against the bottom. All right. 2 by 4 is 1.5 inches, so you come in half that, and that's where you put your hole in, about 3/4 in, more or less. Okay, I felt it hit the stud and I pulled it back out. So use the countersink, especially since I'm close to the edge on here and I don't want it splitting when I run the screw in. Come on in.
Yeah, it ain't work. I need like a power tool drill to take it off.
Oh, you mean like an impact gun?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you bring it over a little later and I can take a look, see.
I appreciate it.
All right.
What time would you like me to come over?
Give me like 30 minutes.
30 minutes? Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, I thought I had paused you, but I didn't, but no harm there. A fella just came back, he had borrowed a pair of vice grips, and he's trying to fix an e-bike or something, and he didn't have any success, so I told him, bring it over. He and his little missus have been, I guess, living over there close to a year, and they finally ventured into the store over here. So they seem like some real nice kids, so. I'm going to put one down just above the floor. It's getting hot. It's getting steamy. And why did I leave my drill driver over there? Now, when I started this project, like most projects, you start in one direction and maybe they end up taking off in another direction instead. I have over here, I thought I was going to put the air conditioner on this table. In fact, I made it a table. That wood top was not on there, a pair of antique sewing machine legs. And I thought, well, I could put it on that table and then stick it in the doorway and build up around it. But then I realized the air conditioner was going to hit that black bookcase that's on the other side and push it out further. And I thought, well, that's also in the height range of my my workbenches and my grinders. And I said, traditionally, air conditioners, commercial air conditioners, there's no problem with putting them up high. Cold air just pours down anyway, so that's where I'm at. Something permanent. Well, that was, kind of iffy to begin with, but I've been telling myself for a couple years I need to cordon off this section so I could heat it. So now I've cordoned it off so I can heat it and cool it. Oh, need to replace the battery. Well, for now, I'll just borrow one off the other machine. Okay, I'll probably put one halfway there and halfway between those two. There's no stud back here on that side, so I can't run screws up and down there, but let me at least go across the bottom. Anybody out there a fan of the DeWalt cordless? You think they're equal to or better than the Milwaukees? I think Milwaukee might have a lot more different tools available, but so far I haven't needed much in the way of unique tools. The one thing I'm looking for from my Milwaukee set next is a grinder, maybe a 4-inch grinder. So I have grinders, but they're all corded. Alrighty. One more screw on that side. And this will be enough for now. Alrighty, it's been about 2 hours. So this air conditioner is doing what it's supposed to do. I am somewhat pleased. I mean, I wish it turned the place into a meat locker in 2 hours, but they are what they are. I still got to do a little more work, hang that door and then block up above it so there's no exchange of temperatures up there. But like I said, right now cold air is sinking, so I'm going to do some work with this running the way it is. The temperature has dropped down to 78.6 and it feels kind of dry in here. I don't feel the humidity, so I'm happy. So on to the next project. Bye everybody, and thanks for checking out Secondhand Dan. Appreciate a like, a subscribe, and a nice comment. Alrighty, bye.